Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Sri Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol. प्रणाम कीर्तन की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतेरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, first chapter, text number 16. Grahat pravrajito dhira punyat tirtha jalaplutah शुचौ विविक्त आसीनो विधिवत् कल्पितासने ग्रहात् प्रव्रजितो धीरा पुण्यतीर्थ जलाप्लुतः शुचौ विविक्त आसीनो विधिवत् कल्पितासने गृहात् प्रव्रजितो धीरा पुण्यतीर्थ जलाप्लुतः शुचौ विविक्त आसीनो विधिवत् कल्पितासने गृहात् प्रव्रजितो धीरा पुण्यतीर्थ जलाप्लुतः शुचौ विविक्त आसीनो विधिवत् कल्पितासने गृहात् प्रव्रजितो धीरा पुण्यतीर्थ जलाप्लुतः शुचौ विविक्त आसीनो विधिवत् कल्पितासने गृहात् प्रव्रजितो धीरा पुण्यतीर्थ जलाप्लुतः शुचौ विविक्त आसीनो विधिवत् कल्पितासने. Word to word. Grihat, from one's home. Pravrajitah, having gone out. Dhirah, self-controlled. Punya, pious. Tirtha, sacred place. Chala aplutah, fully washed. Suchau, cleansed. Vivikte, solitary. Asinah, seated. Vidivat, according to regulations. Kalpita, having done. Asane, on the sitting place. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, one should leave home and practice self-control in a sacred place. He should bathe regularly and sit down in a lonely place, newly sanctified. Purport. To prepare oneself for the better next life, one must get out of one's so-called home. The system of Varnashram Dharma or Sanatan Dharma prescribes retirement from family encumbrances as early as possible after one passes 50 years of age. Modern civilization is based on family comforts, the highly advanced standards of highest standard of amenities, and therefore, after retirement, everyone expects to live a very comfortable life in a well-furnished home, decorated with fine ladies and children, without any desire to get out of such a comfortable home. High government officers and ministers stick to their prized posts until death, and they neither dream nor desire to get out of the homely comforts. Bound by such hallucinations, materialistic men prepare various plans for a still more comfortable life. But suddenly cruel death comes without mercy and takes away the great plan maker against his desire, forcing him to give up the present body for another body. Such a plan maker is thus forced to accept another body in one of the 84 lakh species of life according to the fruits of the work he has performed. In the next life, persons who are too much attached to family comforts are generally awarded lower species of life on account of sinful acts performed during a long duration of sinful life, and thus all energy of the human life is spoiled. In order to be saved from the danger of spoiling the human form of life and being attached to unreal things, one must take warning of death at the age of 50, if not earlier. The principle is that one should take it for granted that the death warning is already there, even prior to the attainment of 50 years of age. And thus, at any stage of life, one should prepare himself for a better next life. The system of Sanatan Dharma institution is so made that the follower is trained for the better next life without any chance that the human life will be spoiled. The holy places all over the world are meant for the residential purpose of retired persons getting ready for a better next life. Intelligent persons must go there at the end of life and for that matter, after 50 years of age, to live a life of spiritual regeneration for the sake of being freed from family attachment, which is considered to be the shackle of material life. One is recommended to quit the home just to get rid of material attachment because one who sticks to family life until death cannot get rid of material attachment. As long as one is materially attached, one cannot understand spiritual freedom. One should not, however, become self complacent simply by leaving home or by creating another home at the holy place, either lawfully or unlawfully. Many persons leave home and go to such holy places, but due to bad association, again become family men by illicit connection with opposite sex. The illusory energy of matter is so strong that one is apt to be under such illusion at every stage of life, even after quitting one's happy home. Therefore, it is essential that one practice self-control by celibacy without the least desire for sex indulgence. For a man desiring to improve the condition of his existence, sex indulgence is considered suicidal or even worse. Whose book is this? Bhagavatam? Sorry? Prabhagar Prabhu. He has underlined the next line. So it's important for all of us. Therefore, to live apart from family life means to become self-controlled in regards to all sense desire, especially sex desire. The method is that one should have a duly sanctified sitting place made of straw, deer skin, and carpet, and the sitting on it, one should chant the holy names of the Lord without offense, as prescribed above. The whole process is to drag the mind from material engagement and fix it on the lotus feet of the Lord. This simple process alone will help one advance to the highest stage of spiritual success. Srila Prabhupada ki मज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं सात्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to the Wednesday morning Bhagavatam class. And this is a very amazing verse, especially the purport is golden purport, as Radhesham Prabhu says. And this verse is very, very similar to another verse mentioned in some other book which we refer time to time. Which is that book? Which is that verse? Anybody knows? Leaving home, practice self-control. Sacred place, he should bathe regularly, sit down in a holy place, duly sanctified. Suchau deshe pratishtha pistaram atmanamasanama. Natuchrita natirnicham chailajana kushottaram. This is Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter, 11th verse, where Krishna is talking about dhyana yoga. So something similar is what is mentioned here. And the purport goes in lot of discussion. Let us see how much we'll be able to. It's still 8:30, right? Class is still 8:30. So we will discuss this aspect. Prabhupada is basically talking about quitting family life, basically talking about quitting home. And this particular statement, if generally people from outside here, they will be really insinuated. They'll be really angry. What are you talking about? Is this what ISKCON is trying to spread? Break family. First of all, already family structure is intact in the eastern part of the world. The western part, it's still more pathetic situation. Like in school now, if you go, first time children are meeting in school, what they will ask, what's your name? And then they will ask, what's your father's name? And then they'll ask, where do you stay? Right. So in the Western countries now, children's discussion is, with whom do you stay? Father or mother? Because assumption is that they're divorced. Right. So with such kind of a situation, if someone hears, sir, India is the one place where family structure is intact, there also you're telling leave home, leave home. So we have to understand the context in which this is spoken. So we will see as Prabhupada beautifully goes across. Initially, Prabhupada begins with Varnashram system, and then Prabhupada talks about the modern situation, what is happening. Right? And then he also, Prabhupada talks about what is for ISKCON devotees. So let us walk in the footsteps of Prabhupada only and go through all these three phases. So what is actually happening with respect to Varnashram? Many times when we hear the concept of give up home or say no divorce, especially for Grahasthas, or Brahmacharis, it's even more strict. Go to the forest, live in the forest. And if you read the 7th canto Bhagavatam and 11th canto also, there's a long description of how a Brahmachari should live in the forest, in the Guru's ashram. Similarly, Grahastha ashram, there is freedom for a person to do his duties, but there is a lot of to do is what he wants to do, but there is a lot of restrictions with respect to dharma, what he should be following and what he should not be following. And we might have heard this principle many times, where Grahasthas are the only ones who actually can support the other ashrams. Brahmacharis are not working, sannyasis are not working, Vanaprasthas also are not working. So that responsibility is also there on Grahasthas. So that may also feel many times unfair. Why so much burden on Grahasthas? Similarly, Vanaprasthas, they may feel ki what going to forest suddenly. Now for 30 years I worked, in whatever work I was doing. This is according to Varnashram, you're supposed to do duty according to your Varna. Varna means, what is the meaning of Varna? Literal meaning of the word Varna? Color. Right. So whatever is the color of your consciousness, accordingly you engage. Right. So for 30 years I worked so much, did so much dharma, charity I gave, and then there are many other rules also. Like every afternoon, Grahastha should go out and call. If Prabhupada says this, he should check if someone is hungry, feed them first. Even today, whenever we do Shraddha ceremony, like for our ancestors, before we eat, first you take that small leaf and then you go to cow and then you offer it to crow. There are so many rituals there. But now today we are working in IT companies. So lunch break only we get half an hour. In that, where you'll go and ask, you share to your colleagues, right? You take, but then problem is they'll also give you. Then how to say no to them? Right? That is a challenge. So this is with respect to, so Vanaprasthas mein fila itna sab kuch karke finally I've come to the place where I want to relax. I want peace. And now you're telling go to forest and do tapasya. Right? And what to speak of sannyasis? The word itself is called as social suicide. Right. So for a person who's in this world to enjoy or at least to be peaceful, the Varnashram system may look very atrocious. And then further on top of that, when people who were at the top of that Varnashram, they started exploiting, because scriptures say Brahmana is the top and then Kshatriya should be listening to the Brahmanas. But then when Brahmanas started exploiting their position, their respect and power, and Kshatriyas also felt, why should I listen to this person? Right. So nowadays, literally for any, like I recently went to Mangalore to perform Shraddha ceremony for my father. Long back he passed away when I was 11 years old. So every year I go on February there. So there now literally there's a rate card in Mangalore. So Shraddha means 5,000 rupees. The Purohit. Marriage means 50. Right. And big marriage means 55. Like that. They have a rate card and everything. So naturally people also feel, what is this? Why are you asking like this? Isn't it? And similarly, Kshatriyas, scripture mentions that king is Naradev. He is a god in the form of a human being. Right. So if it takes it literally, so one person took it literally in the scriptures and quotes that. Who's that? Vena, he quotes, and I am the demigod. Why are you worshipping Vishnu? I am the source, like sum and substance of all demigods, isn't it? So then when kings take it seriously, then they also started repressing. Then Vaishya started stopped giving taxes, running a tax evasion and everything, and they became greedy. So the what to speak when Varnashram becomes caste system, that's even more repressive. So when people feel, see this Varnashram system from outside, it may feel very depriving. We have come to this world to enjoy. Relax. You know, why are you so much taking tension about Varnashram, Varnashram? The purpose of Varnashram is why people say it is relax, because their vision is just stick to the next 50, 60, 70, 80 years. But Varnashram is seeing from an eternal perspective. They're zooming out. Varnashram actually zooms out and says, okay, you have got this body now. That's why Atato. Therefore, now do Brahma Jigyasa. Right? And scriptures are seeing, and what is our past? We don't remember anything of the past. And we were suddenly born, and then by the time we come to Bodha, in Kannada there is a word. In Kannada, Konkani also we say, like consciousness, like becoming mature. By the time we become mature, it is 10, 15 years. Only then we actually become productive in this world. So from where did we come? We came from a chemical reaction. His body is surviving on chemical reactions. And one fine day, the chemical reactions will stop and the body will collapse and everything is finished at the time of death. So from that perspective, if you see, then it is justified. Yeah. Focus on enjoyment and focus on peace. Right. But if you see from spiritual perspective, we have had multiple lives in the previous life and probably we were in the lower species. We don't know. Right. And now we have come to human form of life. And Vedas are saying next 80, whatever 100 years you have time, let's make a maximum jump to go back to Godhead as much as possible. From that perspective, they are actually saying try to restrict, and we may see so from that perspective, they are trying to provide us all the duty and dharma and everything. So what is the system then? At the age of 5, you join Brahmacharya ashram, and then 5 to 25, you are in Gurukul, completely controlled in mind and senses, and then Guru can have Guru Patni also. So then the combination of Guru and Guru Patni will see your behavior for the next 20 years, and then they will suggest that this particular occupation is suited for you. And this particular, you can go and get married. And then some people get married and some people continue. So we have Upakurun Brahmachari and Naishtika Brahmachari. Naishtika Brahmacharis continue after 25 in the Brahmacharya ashram and eventually to take sannyas. They skip Grahastha and Vanaprastha ashram. Whereas Upakurun Brahmacharis, they get married at 25 and then they go until 50. So then at 50, they take Vanaprastha and for 25 years more. And then at 75, they are eligible for sannyas. Having said that, Varna also comes into picture. Generally, sannyas is taken by Brahmanas. If you see even in this Bhagavatam also, many of the kings, most of the stories are kings only in Bhagavatam. When they quit their home, they're basically becoming Vanaprasthis. Right? There is no elaborate description about the kings taking sannyas. They may wear simple clothes and they may go to forest, like Yudhishthira Maharaj did. Vena's father, Anga, he did the same thing. So many examples are given in the scriptures. Even Parishit Maharaj also is not taking sannyas as such. He was a Grahastha. So Grahasthas, like Vanaprasthas and Grahasthas and Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, for them highest perfection is if they can take Vanaprastha. And for Shudras, highest perfection is if you can maintain your one Grahastha. It's very difficult. Right? Like if you see today, the most influential people, what example they are setting? Like someone we have like Elon Musk. I think he had 6 marriages, like all of them broke up. After that, he stopped marrying. Now he's just creating children all over the world. So he has some 9 partners, 14 children, and 0 family. Unfortunate as it is. That even the like other people, also, be it Bill Gates or be it Jeff Bezos. So recently, Vyasacharya was telling me. Now there is a different trend going on in the modern culture, where at different stage of life, you should have different partner. Right. So you get married at 30 to 45, one partner. So your children have become teenagers by then. Then 45, you change, marry someone else. 45 to 60, one partner. And then for retirement, another partner. So at 60, you marry again and then have the third partner. So what is actually happening? Varnashram was supposed to, Prabhupada says about sex life, controlling sex life. So Varnashram says, okay, you marry to this person and this is it. All your sexual enjoyment is going to come from this one person. And when that happens, mind becomes peaceful. But then if you don't have any other alternate engagement, mind becomes bored, not peaceful. And after some time, the pleasure will plateau. So what is this style? When pleasure is plateauing, you take another curve. And that will plateau, then take another curve. So the sexual desire which is supposed to culminate into like reduce, by the time you come to 60, Third 60, you're doing third inning. Right? So what are you talking about? So how was it possible? And the same thing Prabhupada is saying, why people who are too much attached to family life, they become lower species because of so many sinful activities a person has to. Anyone in the scriptures who gave this justification for doing some sinful activity to take care of their family, and then something happened and they became detached. Any example anyone remembers? But not Brigari is one example. Chitraketu Maharaj. Valmiki. Who was Valmiki before he became Valmiki? Ratnakar. He was killing animals and similar to Brigari only. And Narada Muni comes and says, you're killing so many. He says, no, a man provides for his family. I'm providing for my family. Then he said, okay, go and ask your family if they will share your sinful reactions. He went, of course they will. No, you go and ask. No, trust but verify. So he goes for verification and they say, no OTP. They say, no. Your responsibility to take care of us. Why should we take care of your sinful reactions? That actually transformed him and then he wrote Ramayana. Can you imagine, from rags to riches, spiritual story, right? So similarly, a lot of sinful activities are performed in the course of performing our duty, because of which a person naturally goes to lower species. Prabhupada gives examples. Sometimes a person may become rat in the same house, or a person may become a tree if a person is like attached to the house. Then in the next life, he may become a tree which is like bending towards the house. Right. So that's why, like, there was one person, one entrepreneur, one businessman. He had 4 children, and then by the time he became 60, all the children are waiting that when will we get this business? We want to expand and everything. Hey, he was set in his ways. That no. Four branches are there. 4 branches are enough. Don't have to expand too much. A lot of problems. But children are very excited to expand, go abroad and expand the business and everything. So, but every time they would do, he would reject. He would say all permission should come from me. He was very attached to his business. And they thought, hey, he's already 60 now. And somewhere in some book we read that Vanaprasthas, you have to retire from family life. Even normal retirement in your private companies happens at 58. So then they spoke to their Purohit and said, my father is there, he's so attached, our father. So give us some plan by which we can become detached. And then he has his rate card also. So they gave him his share of fees. And then he comes up with a plan. He says, we'll take him to the holy places. Prabhupada says, holy places. We'll take him to Haridwar and then Varanasi and then Vrindavan and everywhere. So finally, after going through many of the holy places, one day they were going to Varanasi. So Varanasi is a place where dead bodies are burnt, and sometimes they put in Ganga also. Ganga is the river there. Yeah. So where it is said that Lord Shiva personally comes and chants the name of Ram in the ears, person gets liberation. So in when they went to Varanasi, Banaras, there is a ghat where they burn the bodies, and they have this. Yes, Prabhu? Harishchandra Ghat, that's the name. Huh? So Prabhu is from ITBH, so he knows nook and corner of that place. So it's a ghat just besides the river. So people come, bring the dead bodies. They have, and there is set up there where they'll keep that funeral pyre ready. Pay the money, bring your body, burn the body, and then body is burned to ash. There will be one person there who will take the broom and then he'll put all that ashes into the Ganga in the nearby river. Then another body comes, another funeral pyre is set. So this somehow caught that old man's attention. And he was just fully focused on that. And the children thought, okay, maybe some realization is coming now. That they didn't disturb him. So whole day he was standing and watching. A full sober face, didn't even eat breakfast, lunch, nothing. He was just standing and watching. One person's body is coming, their body is burnt, and then the family is crying, and then the ashes thrown into the water. Another person, another family. So like that 10, 20 bodies came like that. Whole day went. Right? And by the time evening came, this person started crying. And then the children were very excited. Finally, detachment is coming. It's on the way. Right? So then finally by evening he was crying properly. So then they thought, okay, let's see what's the realization here. Right? So then they tapped his father on the shoulder and said, Papa, what happened? Why are you crying? He said, I wasted my life. I said, yes, finally. Detachment is coming. Detachment is on the way. So some detachment is, renunciation is coming. He said, Papa, what happened? I wasted my life. I said, what happened? Tell us. He said, I wasted my life doing textile business. I should have done wooden business. See, so much customers are there. Right? Unlimited business I would have made. So detachment, like the feeling of remorse came, but for wrong reasons. Right? So why? Especially if a person has become, if a person is employed in a company, right? Still there is some pain. Like I remember watching one news. One person is saying, after 20 years of dedicated service, I was kicked out of Microsoft. I thought maybe he's 40, 60 years old, and he's feeling betrayed. At 60, he was told to leave the company. So even if a person is an employee of a company, someone can feel pain. And what to speak if a person has started his own company? his own business. Attachment will be even much more stronger, isn't it? So that is what is actually happening in the material world. And then what happens in material world, especially why is it difficult for people to give up? See, in the material world is structured in such a way, at least today, that one who can give money, the whole focus is on that person. Society values that person. So that's why if you see many of the movies, advertisements are all focused from teenage to 30. The all movies or stories also like that, advertisements also are like that. Somehow increase lust in the people. People have that lust, just increase it out. For anything and everything, there will be a woman holding that product, right? Because the focus is on the woman. People understand that very well. So because of that, what happens? By the time we come to 30, the person come to 30, 35, we have already, like the attention is no longer on us. Now next generation has come. Right, and the full focus is on them. The movies are on them, the advertisement is on them, the books are written for them. Everything is language also changes. Right, our generation was the one who butchered English, spelling at least through SMS. You are, that is your, right, and so shortcuts we made. Next generation and the Gen Z's language, we don't even understand what they are speaking. The new words have come up there. So then when you cross 30, 35, 40, still you'll get calls, but for loan. Because people understand what are you talking about your privacy and everything. Everyone knows how much you're earning. Everything is very clear to people all over the world. So then you get calls after calls. Please take loan, please take loan. Nowadays, so I get message saying that loan is sanctioned already. Already the sanction. I didn't even apply. And I'm getting calls also. The loan that you applied, which loan I applied? I didn't apply any loan. Isn't it? Loan is just ticket. So then as you come to 30, at least your relevance is there in your own home at least, because you are the breadwinner of the family. At least hopefully some respect will be there if you're a breadwinner. But then there is complexity. Father is a businessman. Father is telling, take my galle pe baithna. You sit on my shop. And you're like, no, I want to be a software engineer. So even you're earning also, father is not respecting you. What, you're working for someone else? I will give you double than that. Come and sit here in my shop. But no, so our psychophysical nature is we want to, work in software. So at least some respect may be there because you're breadwinner, taxpayer, isn't it? And then children at least respect you because they are fully dependent on you, right? So because of all of this, what happens? At least till 50, 55, there is some joy coming out of that, feeling relevant. So you are out of relevance from entertainment industry or your ad industry, but at least till 50, your family is respecting. After you cross 50, 55, reaching 60, children have grown up, right? And not only that, there is a generation gap between you and your children. Right, because see, if our parents' generation, getting one job was goal of life, because that itself was a big thing, right? But then our generation, if you see, like especially if you have done engineering and everything, okay, we don't want to just focus on this bank exam. Bank was a big thing in my mother's time. If you have bank job, means people will die for you. You are the most eligible bachelor in the marriage market. Right now, bank is not given so much priority. Now it is private jobs, software engineer, and such things. So when now we are already seeing that what is the next big thing with respect to work? Entrepreneur. Become an entrepreneur and what? By 40, 45, retire. Fire. Financial independence, retire early. That is the goal now of the people. People want to start a startup. Prabhupada writes upstart many places. Right. This is ulta of that. Startup. People that start their own startup. That's why when we come to 50, 55, we are telling to prepare for IIT, and then they are saying what IIT? Steve Jobs, he was a college dropout. College dropout? Which college? From Stanford. He was going Baba first, then you come out. Right. So people may say, we'll college dropout and everything. So for them, the focus is, startup. So there is a generation gap. You are no longer earning now because your earning potential is now you're getting pension, right? And now the children get married. And similarly, like I remember many of the brahmacharis in Sheshadripuram temple, they are from Peset College, PES University, Keshav Prabhu and Abhishek Prabhu and others. So you ask them, I spoke to Abhishek Prabhu. He said, Prabhuji, what is your inspiration to, he said, Prabhuji, when we were staying in Peset Voice, besides our Peset Voice, was one house, independent like ground floor house. And there was a couple staying there. The husband was retired in his 60 and wife also was there. Only those two stay. Every day the wife would blast the husband left, right, center. And that too with the Ekavachan, not Ninu. Like in the English, in Hindi we have na aapne tu. Wife is blasting the husband like that. Right. So hearing that, he got detachment issues. Prabhu was telling. Right. So what happens by 60, 65, your children stop respecting you. Your wife may end up also stop respecting you. If you have money, it's a different thing. Like you might have heard that Singhania case of Raymond's. His father was having a lot of money, and son was very obedient. Father wrote a will and gave the money to son. Son kicked him out of the house. Now he's staying in 1 BHK, from billionaire to 1 BHK. That is the situation. So what happens? Prabhupada writes in the Dhritarashtra's home section, one should not live like a dog till the last stage of his life in his own home. Right. So there is a phrase in English called as "Don't overstay your welcome." Prabhupada gives this example. Suppose there is a father-in-law. He invites all his 4 daughters and their husbands to his home for a function. So, son-in-law, damad and daughter both have come home. And out of the 4, first one leaves on the same day. He comes for the festival, leaves on the same day. Second one stays, the remaining 3 are there now staying back. Second day or third day or fourth. And the father is saying, how to send them back? You can't tell now. Aditi is like, Aditi Devo Bhava. How can you tell Aditi to get lost? So he thought, okay, he consulted some of his friends and says, you do one thing. You reduce the number of items in the lunch and dinner. That's the indirect message. Please leave. Right. So he starts reducing the number of items in the dinner. From initially it was rice, dal, chapati, chapati, and then sweet and everything. Sweet is gone. Then 2 days later, chapati is gone. Right. And then seeing that, another damad gets message. Okay, I think I'm overstaying my welcome. He also leaves. So 2 more are remaining now. Right. So then still they're remaining 1 week over. So then that person guides him and says, you stop putting salt in your dal and your sabji. That is another way of telling the people, please leave. Right. So then he stops putting salt also. Then after 2 weeks, the second one also leaves. One guy is determined. Yehi samsparsha, not the, what is it? Vyavasayatrika buddhi. Right. So finally for him, the father-in-law to take the stick and kick him out of the house. Right. So similarly, Prabhupada gives this example for condition in the material world. Right. We want to stick, the conditions will want to hold on to material world, and material nature uses all sorts of tactics to send the spiritual, the soul back to spiritual world. Right. So this is with respect to the material world. Why is it that in the current grasta, and then what happens at 60? So one kind of person is those who have a lot of money, they will do that. You know, one wife from one spouse from 30 to 45, 45 to 60, and 60 to whatever, end of life. But those who don't have, those are like in a middle class family or something, when they reach at retirement year, there is no respect in the home also, they'll come down and have their group of people, Sajatiya Sangha, other retired people, and whole day they will sit and talk about politics, they'll criticize this person, criticize that person, whole day. And then on WhatsApp, forward messages, good morning messages to the whole family group, and that becomes their main, job description. See, ideally speaking, they are the ones who are experienced. They have lived life, right? And they feel people should come and ask me for guidance. I have rich guidance. But then what happens? The way they've lived their life, people are not inspired to take guidance from them. Like I was talking to one of my friends, my wife's friend's husband. So he's like 1 year younger to 1 year younger to me. So he was smoking cigarette. He initially told me, actually, I gave up smoking. I said, good for you, no? Okay. Then in that half an hour, he went 4 times outside. I said, where are you going? Sir, no, I have that smoking. I'm still giving up. Right. So we say in a habit. You remove H, habit. You remove A, you remove B, it is still there. Right. So then 5th time he called me also. Tired of sitting. Maybe tired of sitting in the house. I was the happiest person, Baba, who want to. But anyway, he took me out and then he was smoking. But see, they're very, although people may be having bad habits, but they're very polite and gentle, especially he was in UK for 5 years. He was like, I hope you don't mind. And I said, as long as the smoke doesn't come in my direction, I have no problem. Right. So he was smoking. Then I was talking to him. Then he told me, you never smoke? I said, no. I said, from like childhood or from after ISKCON? I said, childhood, mother said, if I smoke, she'll break my bones. And after coming to ISKCON, though, I never got to see in that direction only. Right. So I asked him, how did you, when did you start? He said, from childhood, I had seen my father smoking. But he would always hide. And you can't fool children. They're very sharp. Right. So he knew that father is hiding something. Some smell is coming. Father would hide the cigarette packets and everything. And when he was in teenage, he was in the father's car. He was waiting for some thing to come. No one was there in the car. He opened the glove compartment. There was a cigarette there, box, and he started smoking. Evam parampara prapta. From father. Generally, people get spoiled because of classmates, but this person got spoiled because of father only. And such people have justification also. Generally, what justification we give for not smoking? We don't tell Krishna will be displeased. People will also let him be displeased. My life, my choice. We tell them health will get spoiled, isn't it? But for him, the example is my father is smoking for 30 years. Nothing happened to him. It's basically like holding a time bomb in the hand, like it's covered, okay? The clock is ticking. It's a time bomb in the hand. You're telling it's not exploded yet. It's not. We don't know when it explodes, na? Okay, that person might not have exploded now, right? He would have lived for 80 years. He died at 70 because of the smoking and everything. So because of that, what happens? People have experience. They want to share wisdom because they have gone through life, but their lifestyle is not inspiring people to take advice from them. And like this, people live in their homes till the last point of life. And after having someone has got a job in like house in a city like Bangalore, he has taken loan. Right, for 30 years he has paid loan, and now you're telling him leave home. Right, and son is waiting that no, please give something. No, Prabhupada says when Sanatan Goswami were quitting their job, 100% they had some lot like boats full of gold coins. What did they do? How did they divide it? 50% equity, 25% bonds. Now, how did they do it? 50% to Krishna. Then remaining 25% to family. Prabhupada writes that when someone quits the home, there may be some expectation from children that give us something. Right. So then he gave 25% there. So son is waiting. Arey, Papa, you at least give something, na? We have not anyway. There was you could have bought so many plot of lands, and today you become the biggest, richest PG owners in Bangalore. That you did not do. At least give this home to me. So then where will the just see from their perspective? It's easy to criticize them, but see why they're in difficulty. Right. So naturally people will feel, why should I keep this house? This house is in my home. I paid EMI for 30 years. And nowadays in Bangalore, if you buy the house, your grandson will pay the final EMI. It's so expensive here, isn't it? So from that perspective, it's very difficult for people to digest this kind of purports. Right. Now coming to, so we discussed initially about Varnashram, why Varnashram system is talking about it. Then we discussed what is the condition of the people in Kali Yuga. Prabhupada also says politicians, till the last breath, they want to hold on to the post. Same thing is true for people in the lower stages also. And finally, coming to the ISKCON perspective, Prabhupada is actually saying, see, the translation says, in a sacred place, he should bathe regularly, sit down in a lonely place, duly sanctified. What is Prabhupada saying in the purport? The method is that one should duly sanctified sitting place made of straw, deer skin carpet, sitting on it, one should chant the holy names of the Lord. So that should be the focus, chanting the holy names of the Lord. So if you see in ISKCON today, ISKCON is actually having a strong tension between two things. Maintain to the tradition, at the same time be relevant to the current age. Right? That is a tension which will always be there. It's very difficult for people to balance the both. Coming one more thing before going to that. See, we discussed that sannyas, Brahmanas, they take sannyas. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, they take Vanaprastha maximum. And Shudras, if they are able to maintain their grasshopper, it's a big thing. One devotee actually was telling that he heard some person tell him that actually I and my wife, we stay in different rooms in the house. And we drive to different cars. We watch different TVs. We even enter and exit the house from different doors, from different sides of the house. We are doing everything to keep the marriage together. That is according to that person's definition. Where is the marriage here? First of all, we're trying to keep you are basically roommates in an apartment, basically. Right. So coming to ISKCON perspective, because of this struggle of sticking to tradition and trying to remain relevant, there will be varieties and varieties of problems also. Right. Like for example, brahmacharis, when you're according to Vedic system, when are supposed to enter into brahmacharya ashram? 5 and then come out. But what's happening now? People enter into brahmacharya ashram at 25. Right, isn't it? Which is still glorious. There's nothing problem with that. And then Vanaprasthas, there is no one only here. Even if you go to a forest and chant, you will find some tourists who come and take selfie with you. So one Vanaprastha is that. And then we discussed why Vanaprastha is so difficult. Because having led the life of Grahastha ashram, like if you see, especially having lived in city, like we have this example in Ramayana, where after coming back to Ayodhya, Hanuman also went back with him, right? So one day Hanuman was very morose. Lord Rama was very morose. He said, in Vanvas, when you were staying, so much service was there for you. There is a war to fight, bring, what is it, Sanjeevani Parvat, and then build a bridge, and then go and fight. And now, after coming to Ayodhya, I have no service. And that time, at least Sita was not there with you. Now, Sita also is there. Right? 90% service Sita does. Whatever 10% service is remaining that Lakshman and Bharat and Shatrugna steal. And whatever 1 or 2 crumbs of services that the mantris are doing. I have no service. Then Lord Ram creates a service for Hanuman. What is the service? When I yawn, generally people do that or people cover their mouth. They don't want to, it's not polite to show your mouth when you're yawning. So people try to cover their mouth or something. So this is something people used to do whenever you're yawning. He said, this is your service. Sit beside me. Whenever I yawn, you do that part. I'll not do it. You do it for me. Hanuman was very happy. And Lord Ram is not in the mode of ignorance. Isn't it? We yawn when you want to go to sleep. Right. So, and he's sitting on the court, and then a lot of discussions are happening. And you would see sometimes Hanuman is morose again. And Ram would artificially yawn. And then Hanuman would. Why I'm telling this? I will not be surprised if something like that app will come for us to do that. There will be an app for that also, where people will come and do this for you in the yawn. To that extent, things have gone. If you see the kind of apps that are there to clean your house, there is a person, and then whatnot. Right. So from that perspective, having lived in such comforts of life for a person to go to one, even if a person, first of all, Prabhupada says, not even dreaming nor desiring to go to such places. So one, if you go, and it's not false. Like even when I think in 2013 we had gone to Gokuldham. Anyone has gone to Gokuldham here? So there, see, GEV is different from Gokuldham. At GEV, there is running water, there is electricity, and then there is that spiritual atmosphere. In Gokuldham, at least when I went in 2013, there was nothing. We have 400 acres of land, which means wherever you see, it's our property. Right? And our people have just made a reception area that way. 2-3, like one temple kind of structure, everything made up from organic matter only. And there is no running water. So if you want to wash your hands, you have to, early morning what they do, there is a big tanker kind of a thing on the bullock cart. So devotee uses that bullock cart, goes to a nearby lake, fills that tanker with water and comes back. For the whole day, that is the only water you have. Right, for cooking, cleaning, everything. If you want to go for clearing, go into the forest. Right, come back and then you have your bath or in that lake or whatever. So first day we went, Prabhuji, organic living, sattvic lifestyle. Oh, ho, ho. We were there for 3 days. No electricity, so no mobile charging. And this is not smartphone. This is normal keypad phone, dumb phone. Right. So first day mobile died. Right. So then we have 2 more days there, and we're like, oh, this is life, Prabhuji. This is it. Staying close to. Third day we are frustrated because hands are itching for laptop, for mobile phone, for comforts. Right. And laziness kicks in. Actually, that is supposed to make you active, but laziness kicks in. Oh, if I drink this water again, we have to go down and get water. Better not drink it. Water. Oh, clearing and clearing, again go to forest, find a spot, and come back, isn't it? So difficult for this is. I am at what 20? I'm 19 at that time. At 19, that is my situation. Living in 19 years in a city. Imagine living in a city for 50 years and then telling a person go to a forest. Right. So that's very difficult. Right. So Vanaprasthas, that concept is not there properly for ISKCON from the way it was in Varunachal system. And then sannyas, that is something within ISKCON which has some proper board. Sannyas ministry is there, guru ministry is there, right? But generally for grahasthas, brahmacharis, and vanaprasthas, there is no system as such within ISKCON. Right? And okay, what about grahasthas? What are ISKCON grahastha situation? First of all, the job. Ideally, grahasthas are supposed to work according to their varna. But then here, there is a challenge that we don't know what our varna is. At least brahmachari is to all 4 varnas in one day. Morning brahmachari give class here, chant, read and everything. Daytime services allocation kshatriya, and evening time go for fundraising vaishya, and at night time do temple cleaning shudra. So all 4 varnas happens within one day only. Right. Of course, not many brahmacharis may be doing fundraising. That depends from person to person. But then grahasthas, the challenge is, Prabhuji, what is my psychophysical nature? Many devotees ask. Right. Like, and unfortunately in India, first you do engineering and then you see what you want to do with life. So in engineering, you run. Full speed, regardless of your background, understanding, pushing, bhago, run. So after 25, you are like, that's why many people ask, isn't it? Like when our Krishnanand was traveling in train, distributing books. Right, one person asked him, where are you? He said, I am done my engineering in India and MS from Rice University, from abroad. Right? And he got up from his seat. He said, "You wasted one university seat. You have done so much education and you could have done so much money you could have earned and everything." He said, "Arey universes are getting destroyed because you're not ready to go back to God. You focus on that. University seat, don't worry, it doesn't matter." Isn't it? So a lot of people may actually feel like that. In fact, one of our devotees was traveling in train. He's from IIT. And he joined Brahmacharya Ashram. He was traveling in train and he was giving books to someone. One person told, "You speak English. How come? What is your background?" He said, "IIT. IIT, you're from IIT." He said, "This is in 1990s, by the way. That time, at least, IIT was even more bigger thing." So he said, Prabhuji asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "Actually, I'm doing a documentary. I'm a filmmaker. And my recent movie that I'm making right now is what all people do to get into IIT. That is the documentary he is working on." He said, after having whole discussion, he said, "After meeting you, now I think I should come up with one more documentary, part two. What all people do after passing out of IIT." Puja and Brahmacharya Ashram also. And our Gauram Prabhu is such a powerful person. He sent a photo. He put a photo in the social media where they had a 25-year reunion or 30-year reunion of his IIT batch, 1992 IIT Bombay batch. In that, if you see, everyone is in suit. Our Prabhuji is in saffron. It's very easy to find out where is Prabhuji. Full suit and one person Prabhuji there standing in saffron Shivanadid. And of course, glowing also among all of them. So because of that, what happens? Understanding our psychophysical nature becomes a challenge. Right. And then like I met one devotee, like you have heard this. Janmana jayate Shudra, Samskarat Bhavet Dvija, Vedapatat Bhavet Vipra, Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. These are the 4 stages. So Brahmana just doesn't mean a person who's doing rituals. Brahmana also means someone who's realized Brahman. And it's a very advanced stage. And then after Brahma Janati iti Brahmana, then Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadite Vasudevam Sarvamiti, so Vaishnava, he becomes a Vaishnava. So Vipra is someone who's actually studied scriptures and at least understands the scriptures thoroughly. So I met one devotee like long back, I think 2014-15. I met some devotees in the program like this. They were saying, "Prabhuji, where are you working and everything?" So I said, "Prabhuji, I'm from Infosys." So if you like, so one person I'm in Infosys, and then one person said, "Prabhuji, I'm Vipra." I said, "Wow, you're Vipra." I said, "No, I work in Wipro." So Vipra. So like if you're working in Infosys, I got my brother is working. So Infosys is called Infosys. If you're working in Infosys, Googleite. So he's Vipra, it seems. So because of that, it's very difficult for people to know what is their Varnashram. So first struggle is there. A person who's supposed to be a Brahmana is doing a Vaishya job, starts a business. Or someone who's supposed to be a Vaishya does a Shudra job, like employment. Like in our own community, we have one family who's an entrepreneur. Husband is an entrepreneur. It's just upcoming devotees. And I was talking to that Mataji. She was saying that her husband, ever since he's come out of college, he's frustrated. He wants to do business, but family is saying job security, earn money, earn money. For 10 years, he suffered and struggled. And after that, he started his business. Now he's very happy. Very, very busy, but very happy also. So why? The moment you're working according to your Varna, first thing is you get fulfillment. That what comes from that job, that is not the focus. The focus is that activity itself is fulfilling. So a person feels satisfied and happy. So this is a state. Now within ISKCON also, like now because the focus is on Grahasthas and most of the people is, anyone Brahmachari here? Not yet. Okay. I'm assuming some of you will be aspiring for Brahmacharya Ashram and everything. That's currently we are all working and most people may be in either Grahasthas already or getting into Grahastha Ashram. Even within Grahastha Ashram, it is not that, we don't have a choice. Right. I know my own mentor, Anantavalla Prabhu. He's not from IIT. He's not even an engineer actually. He did his BCom and he was working in 2 IT companies parallelly. And both companies knew he's working in another company. They were okay. He was into sales. It was like some sort of sales, medical also and IT also. Both something was there. So he understood that I don't want to stay here for long. So rather than cribbing, whining, yelling, cursing and everything, he thought that let me go into astrology. So he found out proper institutes which train astrologers, and then he would go there every Saturday, Sunday. So imagine he invested, and every time he would come, I used to go to temple, Sheshadripuram temple, we would eat prasad, and immediately prasad is running. So I have to complete assignments and everything. This is at 35 or 30, 37, 38. And he did this for 6 months, 2 years he struggled like this. And then he started his own astrology consulting. And because he has a devotee background also, I would trust him rather than any other. I don't know what others are doing in their personal life. So, and he's a counselor also. It helps him in counseling also. Rather than blindly counseling anyone, at least if you know their stars, if you know what are they going through in their life currently because of astrology, you can consult and guide them accordingly. And then eventually started his own personal consulting. He made his website also. And from there he was earning Lakshmi. At some point in time, he gave up both of his jobs. Staying in Bangalore, he has 2 children. And the best part about astrology is there is no fear of recession. Rather, in recession, you get more business. People are worried. Will I get a job? Will I get married? This and that and everything. Right. So that is one trajectory he has taken. Another trajectory Grahasthas can take is, say, for example, you are single son and your father is with a lot of money. Not big, you are devotee now. And suppose you married to a daughter, the daughter of another rich man, single daughter. And both are telling her, why are you slogging in your IT company, Baba? We have so much money already here. You take some simple job and you relax. No, have fun. Because the father-in-law also feels that daughter should be happy. If the husband is working in IT company for 18 hours, then daughter is also miserable. So then, in that case, I know some devotees who take job within ISKCON only. See, ISKCON will not pay 30 LPA, 40 LPA. You may get 20, 25, 30, 40,000 maximum. That is ISKCON's budget of services. So, but because you already have financial backup, you don't have to worry. There is so much passive income coming from so many places. Some devotees, they take up employment within this temple only. For such people, there is no need to give up the service, give up that job, because their work is directly impacting the association of devotees. They can, it may be like, say, for example, software development, web page. It's like we have our Venkatesh Prabhu and our Suresh Prabhu. They're always in, like even our Ankit Prabhu. So much website designing and creating and everything. That may be, they are doing it as a service. Some ISKCON temples, I keep getting mails from ISKCON Chowpatty. Front desk job opening available. In GEV, there is some services, some employment open available and everything. So such cases, devotees don't have to give up their job also. That can be their lifelong service till the last breath, because they're directly serving the deity. They may stop taking salary after, say, the 50, 55, 60 or whatever, and continue that service. That also option is also is possible. And then we have final case of devotees like Anand Vrindavan Prabhu, who was working in Bombay Stock Exchange. So Bombay is called as Mayanagri. And in that stock exchange, he's like the headquarters of Mayanagri, he's working there. And his spiritual master told him, and he told also his spiritual master, I'll give up my job. He said, no, according to you, he is from Gujarati family and he understands money very well. Right. And he said, I'll give up. His father, his spiritual master said, this is your varna, this is your job. You continue doing that, but every morning before you go to your office, you have to chant your 16 rounds and hear one lecture and go. And that he has religiously followed for 30 years. And now he started his own finance advisory business. He gave it to his son. He was very happy to retire also at 50. Then devotees said, Prabhuji, if you retire like this at 50, there are many devotees who are in their 50s but not financially settled. So they will try to imitate you by taking some foolish steps and ruin their life. To set an example, Lokasangraha mein vapi sampashyan kartum arhasi. Set an example. You go to your office like 2 days a week, like, and for 2-3 hours, and you come back and let your son handle the remaining business. So that is also taking place. That is also another example, right? And if you see, whenever this Haridas Thakur appearance day or disappearance day, he chants 192 rounds. Not only chants himself, he arranges a program in his house, and he makes a beautiful plan. He says you come at 2 o'clock in the night in his house, and then you chant all the way to even Pandavini Vijay Ekadashi, all the way to next day evening 4 o'clock. You can continuously chant. Then there will be some prasadam break for half an hour. Then again from that 5 o'clock all the way to next morning 6 o'clock, you can complete your 190 rounds. So he has been doing it. So why this? That brings me to the last point of the discussion. Many times we may feel that, okay, money is what is stopping me from taking the next step. Once I reach that much money or once I make big money, then I can anytime go to temple. Temple is here, where is it going? Devotees are here only, where are they going? But the problem is, I've seen many cases where by the time a person reaches 60, financially is well to do. Children are married, all responsibilities done, but there is no practice. And that is why Jayadut Maharaj, he was asked, Maharaj, what if someone is not able to stay lifelong brahmachari? He said, if you cannot stay lifelong brahmachari, at least 3 years you stay as a brahmachari. And then he said, if you cannot stay for 3 years, at least for 2 years you stay as brahmachari. If you cannot stay for 2 years, at least 1 year, at least 6 months, at least 3 months, at least 1 week, at least 1 day you stay as a brahmachari. It may look like, a very funny sentence, but what he's saying is, if you have an experience of depending on Krishna and living, even for 1 day, that will actually stay as your lighthouse at 50 when you have the opportunity to give up. If you have absolutely no experience of surrendering to Krishna and staying surrender to Krishna, at 60 you may have everything else, but inclination is not there. That fear is there. What will happen? Right. So that's why if you see Avadut Nimai Prabhu, he's in our community only, Avadut Nimai Prabhu. For what, 10 years he stayed in Vrindavan, isn't it? And he was working. He was Grasta. Now imagine he has a plan of retiring at 60. Okay. And his plan is he'll go back to Vrindavan. He will have no fear, no insecurity because he already has the experience of living in Vrindavan for 10 years. Similarly, if someone has some experience, like all of you staying in yoga now, may not be staying in Brahmacharya Ashram, but yoga is more or less more tough than Brahmacharya Ashram actually. Morning, evening, or Brahmacharya, daytime, you are like Rasta. Go to office. It's very, student life is much easier compared to working life, isn't it? And then who's the in charge of this yoga? Prabhakar, he's also holding stick. Very good morning program. Attendance. Where is Mahamantra? Yesterday you came 2 minutes late. Right. So because of all of that, all of you are getting that brahmachari experience. Right? That's why we call it Jet Age Gurukul. Isn't it? So we are currently, yes, no? Yeah. So we are staying here in the Association of Devotees. So that by the time we come to 60, it will be easy. So that's why even now, as we are practicing as Grahasthas, it is not that, okay, Prabhuji, next 25 years, maza luto. And then at 50, we will see. Right. Or some people are there who say, Prabhuji, fire. What is fire? Financial independent, retire early. Which next 10 years, I'll work like donkey. I'll be number one donkey in my company, work like anything. And by 35, 40, I'll retire. But then Prabhuji, until that, don't tell me about chanting Hare Krishna. For regulative principles, not possible because I have to show that I'm a good donkey. So I have to go to team dinners also. There I will have to eat whatever they give. So don't ask me about regulative principles. Don't tell me to wear Kantimala. Don't ask me to chant Hare Krishna. Don't forget about coming to temple. None of that is possible. But at 40, I'll be pure devotee. I'll give up everything and I'll full time be here only, Prabhuji. So the problem is, right, like one devotee was telling, you were saying how to, like the one devotee was approached by some family children, family people and said, our children are not listening. Teenagers, it's very difficult to handle them and everything. So then Prabhuji was telling them, see, you want your children to be disciplined. But then if you see discipline as something very painful, you're depriving people of joy and everything, then that discipline won't last for long. You should see discipline as negotiation. You are negotiating with yourself. For example, now suppose there is a big flood and we are stuck. All the devotees staying here are stuck. Okay. And forecast is for next 7 days, nobody should come out. And no groceries, no Blinkit, nothing. Okay. Whatever groceries are, fortunately, a lot of groceries will be there, hopefully. Subject purchasing is done. Where is our Prabhakar group? Done. Okay. So purchasing, everything is done. Now we have, for this population, we have 1 week's prasad. Groceries available. So we can do 2 things. Prabhuji, 1 week is there, no. Party. Every day we are having party. 8, 8, 9, chappan book we are having. Right. Within 3 days, everything is finished. Next 4 days, you have to starve. That is one problem. Another problem is we are like very strict. Prabhuji, only 7 days. As that God knows what will happen after 7 days also, we don't know. So let's eat only 1 banana a day. Whole day, 1 banana. Or whole day, one plate of khichdi, that's it. You may not survive by the time 7th day comes. Isn't it? So you need to negotiate how much I will eat today and how much I will eat the next day. Similarly for children, they want to play. Right? And parents, if children think playing is my joy, studies is my parents' responsibility, they will drag me and no, let them make the responsibility for their studies. So you have to negotiate my current me and the future me. Current me want to enjoy, future me wants to have a better future, better career. So let them decide, negotiate with yourself how much I want for myself and how much I want for the future. So similarly, as Grasthas even now, right now we are at what 30, 27, 25, whatever it is, whatever the age be. Even now we can time to time increase our commitment in the basic aspects of bhakti. Like I know one devotee when I was in my voice, this devotee he was just passed out of NIT Suratkal. He was staying with us, and he was 25, 24. He told me something interesting. He said, Prabhu, imagine increasing 1 round every year. So now he's standing 16. So 2028, 2027, 17 rounds for full year. Then 2029, 18 rounds. 2030, 19 rounds. So he was telling, I'm 24 now. So by 41 years of age, he's chanting 32 rounds every day. I know, according to that math, he may not be chanting that much now. And I don't know, I gotta ask him. So which means by the time you reach 60, you are chanting 64 rounds. So that's a gradual increase of chanting. Or something what I told Anand Prabhu does. Every morning, 5 o'clock, they have this Japa group on his YouTube where they come and chant. Once in a while, when Haridas Thakur appears 64 rounds or 192 rounds. Right? So some amount of commitment we can keep increasing so that by the time we come to 60, we can respectfully transition to the next ashram. Not 60, at least 50, as Prabhupada says. Peacefully, gradually transition to the next ashram. Where now within ISKCON, if you see generally sannyasis and brahmacharis, they get a lot of limelight. Right. And if you are a very big businessman or successful on social media, then as Grahastha also you get a lot of limelight. But then generally Vanaprasthas, there is no we may know some devotee like Devaki Mataji is there. She travels and gives classes. She is an example of a Vanaprasthi. Right. So that may not be there because many of the Vanaprasthis in ISKCON, they are not recommended to go to forest also. You stay in your house, apartment only, follow the principles of Vanaprastha ashram, come and offer your services to the temple, which is also fine, which is also great. Because the goal of life is not the limelight. The goal of life is to go back to God, serve Krishna, please Krishna. So that also is possible. So these are all the various practical things which devotees can do. Otherwise, what happens many times, Grahasthas may feel hopeless. Say, Prabhuji, there is no hope. And if you see today, how many of you sitting here have work from home? Two devotees. Hybrid, many of them are not today work from home. In general, you can take work from home. See, many devotees are there. 20 years back, could not even imagine this. Pre-COVID also could not imagine for many people. In India, it was a big thing. Bro, I took permission from all the way to see you for one day work from home. That was a condition before COVID. Now, though, once a week I go to office, there also half office is empty. Right. So that freedom, things have changed a lot. So there intelligently we need to find out either we want to the first step, like fully transition our career according to our Varna, like I told example of Anantula Prabhu, astrologer now, or you want to take up some job within the ISKCON only because you have enough family inheritance wealth, or you want to continue with your job, put a limit, and after that, you switch to Vanaprastha ashram. Within that also, don't say that next 20 years, don't ask me where I am. Right, I'm going to work like anything, work like a donkey. But then after that, that is also not feasible. It is very, very difficult for people to, even within ISKCON also, it's very difficult for people to suddenly change. So this phrase I had come across recently. All of you had heard, haste is waste. Radhesha Prabhu quotes this a lot. We have some more. Lazy is crazy. Especially in human form of lazy is crazy. Haste is waste. Sudden is burden. Suddenly don't try to change. It will not be possible. Gradual is natural. So gradually you direct your path in such a way that by the time you come to 50, 55, it will be easy for you to transition. See, these are all broad guidelines. It will differ from person to person to person. Suddenly, we have one of the congregation members here, upcoming devotee. He is in his late 50s. And suddenly his daughter wants to learn abroad, study abroad. And for that, a lot of lakhs of rupees is required. And now he's staying in Bangalore, some very expensive place also. So now he's working. One more example I wanted to give. I'll finish it after this, and that will end the class. So now he's not able to come to the center because he's like sleepless nights. He's working also, and to earn money to fund his daughter's education, he has to upgrade his job. For that, he has to study also. So his whole time is going in that. So we cannot just make a blanket. Doesn't mean he's a sincere devotee. Anything may come in anyone's life at any point in time. Like I went to my hometown, like my wife's hometown last week. There I was talking to my father-in-law. My father-in-law had gone to Dubai in 1992. And there he met devotees and he became a devotee, got initiated. Both my father-in-law, mother-in-law initiated devotees. So I was talking to them. He said, he told example of the senior devotee who's leading the congregation in Dubai. So I was talking to him. He said, yeah, he actually still working. He said, he's 61 years old. He's still working. I was like, 61 years old. Why is he working still? So we have for everyone else, we are judge. For ourselves, we are advocate. And I have my justification. I know why I'm doing what I'm. So I was like, so my father-in-law saw in my face that, okay, there is a possibility that this fool may offend such a great soul. Then he told me why he's working at 61 in a company. So in Dubai, you need a work permit to stay there. You should be a tourist, you'll come and leave, or I should have a work permit to stay in Dubai. You cannot become a permanent citizen in Dubai. And he is leading an entire big congregation in Dubai. So his spiritual master told him, whatever it takes to continue and lead the congregation, do it. So he's staying there. And I was like, okay. I was literally so it's very easy to offend anyone and everyone. You understand the big picture, then we'll understand, right? So that's why all possible options are there. So these options, especially for Grahasthas, Brahmacharis, there is Brahmachari leader. And we have Radhesham Prabhu, Sundar Gopal Prabhu in Delhi and Amog Leela Prabhu. So those standards are taken care. Many times Grahasthas may feel, Prabhuji, we are like left on our own. Prabhuji, whom to take guidance, what to take guidance. That's why it all boils down, even because even within ISKCON, you will find devotees who have given up their job and have gone to some farm community. That is also example is there. Even within ISKCON, you will find well-known grahasthas, they are divorced, second marriage, and then that again they're divorced, third marriage. That example also is there. So basic question is, who's our hero? Who said this? Indradhan Maharaj. If you have come to this class, who is our hero? So you choose your hero and then you take guidance from such people. Right? If you feel someone may feel that I want things to be extremely structured, then Pune is the best place for such a person. Everything is structured there. Someone will know, Prabhuji, I want a little more spontaneity. So much syllabus, so much medicine. There are so many other places in ISKCON. Right. So that's why Prabhupada made the diversity available. Depending upon where you're feeling comfortable, you go there. And don't have to go there and criticize someone else. Right. Like you may be going to Delhi and there one devotee asked my spiritual master, Prabhuji, why more people are not coming for morning program here? Maharaj asked, where are you from? He said, I am from Pune. And Maharaj said, I'm sick of this question. Right? And then that person came to Radhesham Prabhuji, asked this question to Maharaj. Maharaj became angry. He said, why you have to ask these questions? You're going there, you just respect them for what they're doing. No, why you have to unnecessarily judge people? Right. So that's why identify who is their hero. And see, this situation which you are in, the fluid situation in Grahastha Ashram, you can see it from two perspectives. One perspective is, Guruji, everything is on my own. I have to make these choices. And these are life-changing choices, many of them. Like whom you want to marry, which job you want to take. And then once you get into a company, it's very difficult to come out. And so some people may feel that, Guruji, if I start a business, then what if it goes down? And then, so this is one perspective, fear of uncertainty. The same freedom, the fluid situation of Grahastha Ashram, we can also see from curiosity perspective. I'm really curious how I can navigate my life. Either you can have curiosity or you can have anxiety. These are the two choices. We have to make that choice. Right? I'm sorry, I'm telling this again and again, but I'm continuing. The example of Bhishma Dev. Right? Please stop. You can take the mic from my after this. So Bhishma Dev, how can a devotee like Bhishma Dev take a vow to kill another devotee? Not devotee, devotees. Tomorrow morning I'll kill, tomorrow EOD. He said, did it EOD? He said, but tomorrow EOD, I'll kill all five Pandavas. Right. And so I was wondering, how is this possible? How can a devotee take a vow for whatever condition be? You may be insulted. Rather insulted, you know, what kind of a, you are partial to Pandavas. He said, but tomorrow EOD, I will kill all the five Pandavas. So Bhishma basically was thinking, 100% sure Krishna will save Pandavas. I want to know how he will save Pandavas. Just curious. Isn't it? You would have taken it as a headache. Array, tomorrow I have to kill. What kind of offense I'm doing to killing the five months? He said, I am not going to kill. Krishna is going to save them. But my question is, how will Krishna save? And then Krishna saved how? He sent Arjun at night. He woke up Arjun. Arjun, get up. To go immediately. So then he took him to Kaurava's side and then he asked for the five arrows. Next day morning, when Bhishma says, okay, Duryodhan, give me my, I know my assignment now. I'll complete my assignment. He said, Arjuna came and stole the bow. Bhishma was happy, but then he went one step ahead. I am still curious. Today I will either kill five Pandavas or will break the Krishna, break his vow of not lifting weapon in the battlefield. And that's exactly what happened. Krishna did that happen, but in a very, you can say, funny way. Like if you want to kill someone, like if you're so angry on Bhishma, kill someone. There are so many weapons on the chariot, na? You can take a shield, you can take arrow, Arjun, you can take arrow and shoot. You can bring Sudarshan Chakra also. But no, you take what? Chariot wheel. Right? And not even throwing, you're running towards that person. Right? So, why? So here Bhishma is in a full mood of curiosity. I want to know how things work. At the same time, you have to be careful because curiosity kills the cat. You might have heard that also. So don't take impulsive decisions without consulting senior devotees. Right? So that will be the end of the session. I hope some perspective for this particular session. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I don't think I have the guts to ask anybody has any questions, but if anyone has any question, one question. Oh yeah, we have. Yes. Hmm. Correct. Correct. Okay, so why not have that ethos in ISKCON where Grahasthas can liberally take sannyas? Like at least encourage them that okay, you have the hope of going and taking sannyas. Is that the question? Yeah. So if you see Prabhupada's time, there are multiple things you have to understand. First is ISKCON was in a growing phase, right? And we needed a lot of sannyasis, and ISKCON had paid a heavy price for that also. Right? Many of the sannyasis could not continue. To this day, actually, I remember one of my devotee friends. He came up in Bhakti here only in Bangalore. He had a lot of problems in Bangalore here because the place where he was staying, that voice also was not very good, and a lot of complaints about him. Is very difficult to deal with the devotee. For brief moment, I was also his facilitator for some time, and finally he had a lot of problems, a lot of devotees complaining, and then he said, "Prabhuji, I'm going," and he got some MBA admission outside India, not US, some part in Europe, and he went there, and all devotees were like, "Krishna, please save this person. I don't think this person will continue." Right? 2 years later, I get a call from him. I said, Prabhuji, I'm in this particular place. And yes, Prabhu, I told his name, legal name. He said, no, Prabhuji, my name is so and so Das. I said, wow, how did this happen? He went to that place, and there was one Prabhupada disciple, sannyasi Prabhupada disciple. And especially in the Western countries, temples are almost empty. And our Prabhu was very good Mridangam player. So when Maharaj wanted to do Kirtan, he would call this person. He was very happy to play Mridangam. Like that, he picked up, and then he got close association of him and observed him very closely, and was really inspired by him. And then he took initiation from that spiritual master. So this was 2020. No, I met him. I spoke to him in 2021. So yesterday, somebody sent me an article in which it was written that this particular sannyasi spiritual master, he is changing ashram, and he wants to get married to this particular person, and he wants to. And that name, when I heard, I was like, isn't this that particular person's spiritual master? And I wanted to check. It's not, I can't just ask anyone. So, Prabhu, your spiritual master, I heard he's getting married. It is so offensive, and it's so. I remember once I was in some place, and one brahmachari is there, senior brahmachari. I thought he's a grahastha by the name, and I told one devotee, "Oh, he's a grahastha." No, hey, he's a brahmachari. Okay, okay, sir. So even by mistake you say such things for a brahmachari called sannyasi, it can be offensive. Here I heard this news and I was very concerned. I saw the photo also. Said yes, this person is only one. But then I saw the article. It was in 2025. Then I messaged that devotee. Hare Krishna Prabhu, how is everything? He said, yes, Prabhuji, everything is good. No much complaints. How is from your side? I thought, okay, he seems to be, at least he's replying. I thought he'll not even reply. Probably he left his corner or whatever. So then he messaged me saying, I asked him, Prabhuji, I heard, I got an article about this thing, and I hope you're doing well. And he said, yes, Prabhuji, this happened last year. Now my spiritual master currently is in Juhu, and they have called him there. He's under instruction of GBC. I don't talk to him much. I don't get to associate with him much and everything. So can you imagine? This is the first experience of someone related to me who's going through this. And I told him you can call me anytime. And then yesterday he called. I was busy. Today we are planning to have a discussion. So he wanted to open up. And anyway, Western countries are known for loneliness, and that association of devotee is also very small, right? So I told him, you talk to me, call me whenever. So this is the reason why currently in ISKCON, this is a Prabhupada disciple. A Prabhupada, it's in this purport only, no? At any part of any age of life, a person can be, enticed by the illusion of sex life, right? So that is the one reason why grahasthas are not encouraged sannyas so much. Even brahmacharis are not encouraged sannyas nowadays. You have to Radhesham Prabhu is waiting from God knows how long, isn't it? Lokanath Maharaj told Radhesham Prabhu, if your spiritual master is not giving sannyas, I'll give. You take sannyas and deliver the souls. There's a joke he was telling. So even brahmacharis also, they are not given sannyas. Grahasthas are even far better, far difficult. And secondly, in today's day and age, what is the purpose of taking sannyas? Preaching. Oh, I forgot to tell you that. When Varnashram system, sannyasis are not supposed to cross the ocean. And today is the ISKCON, sannyasis are the one traveling like anything all over the world. Right? The purpose is preaching. So whatever preaching is to be done, there are so many grahasthas. As grahastha also, you can do so much preaching. And not now with work from home and everything. Even like if you see Chaitanya Avatari Prabhu, he's one of the gurus in ISKCON. Wherever he went, he created a community, not a Bhakti Vriksha. Community he created. He went in China and he created a community there. Singapore, he created a community there. So powerful. This is in 2000s, 1990s and 2000s. Now, of course, he was given a guru position by his spiritual master. Right. So even as grahasthas, like whatever a sannyasi can do, a grahastha also can do with respect to preaching, practical preaching perspective. That's the one reason why sannyasis, and every sannyasi has a difficulty. Huge amount of people get affected. Lot of faith, because everyone who's practicing Krishna consciousness is fighting a war with material nature. Literally, in his pocket, he's carrying Maya. Just imagine if the more we hear such news, the more person feels, why should I? They are not able to practice. Why should I stop myself from watching movies and whatever the conditioning a person may have? So that's why it's better to have, now currently ISKCON's focus is stability. Let's focus on sustainability and stability. That's why the sannyasis are very few. They want to make very few. Gurus can be many. That also they want to have strict restrictions, but sannyasis they want to restrict the number, and so that the damage can be also minimal. So you can imagine one person takes, and one is the internal people getting disrupted, like feeling hurt. Across other sampradayas also we lose our reputation. Like Madhva Sampradayas or Sri Sampradaya, they also feel, what is this? What is this people are doing in ISKCON? Right. So that's why it's a very restricted kind of a structure right now in ISKCON. Even for that matter, even full-time grahasthas also are not recommended, because people may in the zeal join full-time grahasthas, but then when they become 35, 40, 45, they don't have any job or something, and ISKCON temple is maintaining them, and they feel, Puja, I'm doing so much service for the temple, I want one car. Right. I would have bought a car if I was working in a company by this age. I want a car, or I want one 3 BHK. I have 3 children now. I want money for their schooling also. ICSE syllabus. It's 7 lakhs per year or whatever. So then it will be very difficult for temple to maintain such people. That's why now ISKCON has come up with a standard that you continue your financial backup, continue your job, whatever you're doing. Once you quit your job, you continue staying in that house, but come and serve the temple. ISKCON doesn't want to financially support anyone in that sense. So over decades of experience, ISKCON is what it is today. The decisions made in ISKCON is what it is today. We may see from our one perspective, like our one theoretical, especially if you're not much experienced in bhakti, in life also, we may see from just a superficial perspective of Prabhupada purports, and then we may question the decisions of GBCs or ISKCON. But if you see from their perspective what they have been through, what the world global ISKCON is going through, from that perspective, decisions are taken. Right. So, but that doesn't stop us from doing what we are doing. No. Like one devotee came to me and said, Prabhuji, he wanted to join Ashram, Brahmacharya Ashram, but a lot of financial problems. He was very morose. Told him, see, what will you do after joining Ashram? Prabhuji, I will chant, I will read, I will distribute books, I'll do vessel washing, I'll do kitchen services. I said, who's stopping you from doing that now? There is a huge Parvat, Himalaya Parvat is there, go and wash it. No. So whatever we will do after Brahmacharya Ashram, same we can do before Brahmacharya Ashram, like all of you are now in yoga. Anyone here planning to join like PDC course or Pune, go to Pune and join Brahmacharya or some other place? Okay. In case someone is there like that, right? Then right now, you don't have to wait for that. Right now, we are staying in temple. Literally, you are pant shirt brahmachari. Doing pant shirt and living like a brahmachari only in that sense. Right. So continue. We can continue as a grahastha also to do all those activities. In case Krishna feels that we are qualified, in case devotees feel we are qualified, despite being grahastha, probably someone may be given sannyas. Not everyone Prabhupada gives sannyas fell away. No. Indradyumna Maharaj was most of the Goswamis were once upon a time grahasthas. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Tamal Krishna Goswami, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. He also, we call him Indradyumna Swami because that's the way his website and everything is promoted. He's a Goswami himself. He was a married person before, and then. So if Krishna feels you are qualified there, then he will take the lead. He will take it from there. Like I was asking Vyasacharya Prabhu, the Kartik Yatra. The session is over, Prabhu. You can carry on. I'll go on for rest of eternity. So in Kartik Yatra, I asked Vyasacharya Prabhu, I was thinking, if Maharaj was a participant in the Kartik Yatra, how would he have led his life? Like the 7 days Kartik Yatra, what would be his actions? What would be his consciousness and everything? Vyasacharya Prabhu laughed and said, see, bro, the focus of spiritual life is not to become like someone. Right? You be who you are, and you follow the instruction of your spiritual master. Rest, Krishna will take care. Whatever has to happen, whether you'll get success or failure, whether you'll become famous or you will not become, you will remain like ordinary Mr. Nobody in the world, that all you leave it to Krishna. Right? That's what my spiritual master also went through. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Radha Mata Bhagavan ki. My spiritual master was told, rest of your life, your service is within this new Vrindavan temple. Wow, what an understatement. That person cannot be more wrong than what actually has happened in reality. So you do our services, as answering your question finally, as grahasthas continue doing, try to increase more and more and more and more. Eventually, if by the time we are 50, 55, if we have reached a stage where Krishna feels, okay, now this person is qualified. Then devotees, your spiritual master, devotees, they will only push you and inspire you to take sannyas. Right. But then there also again we have to be careful because many times people may take sannyas for push, and that also has happened in ISKCON. People took they never wanted to, they took sannyas, and then later they were blaming their peers and they gave up sannyas, they gave up ISKCON. A lot of messes happening. Right. So let's continue with whatever position we are in right now. Sthane Sthita Sthitivan, continue hearing, chanting, reading, and everything. If Krishna feels we are qualified, then he may use us as an instrument for setting an example. So that in the future, people will be talking. You know, Yogesh Prabhu, he used to work in this, which company are you working for? Which company are you working? MPhase, he was working in MPhase, and after that he went into Microsoft, Google IT, became Wipro also, he was working in Wipro CEO. And then eventually he was so powerful that he took sannyas. Right. So, so let's that he'll become a flight for all of us. Right. So let us not feel guilty for whichever position we are in. From wherever we are, try to go closer to Krishna, and then let rest Krishna will take care. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Start our day. We have a lot of work to do.